exactly.
Okay. So the last thing, last topic I have, you can, as
Mm-hmm.
we discussed before the podcast, you wanted to talk about your program, right? People's Party,
Mm-hmm.
environmental.
Yeah.
So the last
Yeah.
moment is coming up is no waste lifestyle. Okay. So now
Okay. Yeah.
this a single individual can do, right? You cannot do
Mm-hmm.
big things like policy change and all these kind of things, but this thing,
Mm-hmm.
no waste life cycle, right? That's getting promoted. Currently, again, it's a rich thing, so people are not
Mm-hmm.
looking that much into it. But still,
Yeah.
so you can add your answer to this, okay? And we can
Mm-hmm.
the podcast that what does mean no waste life cycle is, and what
Mm-hmm.
how much effect it can have on the environment to reduce the climate change.
Okay. So a lot of scientists or a lot of researchers often believe that waste is not really a big part of climate change right now, and that there are many other important things that you need to work on, like basically cutting down your meat consumption, the way you travel, or the kind of electricity you use. Obviously these are like very very big things that we need to focus on, but it also matters the amount of waste that you generate out over there, because it basically ends up somewhere. That is the basic philosophy behind it. It does not dissolve into thin air. Whatever waste that you generate, it ends up somewhere, right? I'm not sure if you've heard of it, there's this big thing called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is like a
That's the thing I was
huge.
talking about.
That's the one, yeah,
This happens because of the current in the water that gets saturated at only.
exactly. It gets saturated right over there, and all the waste from all these different parts of the continent and from all these oceans, it comes up over there in one big pile of garbage and junk. So you cannot imagine the amount of impact it has on all these different species. And the waste that we generate today, it's going to remain forever. We might have a piece of plastic with us that we just throw out today for no reason and forget about it tomorrow, but that piece of plastic is going to be there even after the next 2000 years.
Like,
So you can imagine that it is not going anywhere. If 3 generations, 4 generations after you that will come over here, they'll still see, oh, this is what my great grandmother or great grandfather left over here. It's going to be there intact without anything happening to it, and it's dangerous. If I don't know if there was this report in between that came in that a lot of babies that are born today basically are born with microplastics in their body.
so it's just not animals.
It's not animals, it's humans as well. A lot of Because we have been consuming a lot of food and water that basically might contain microplastics, because of the amount of plastic that has been used and being dumped here and there everywhere. Our water bodies have plastics in them by default now. That is why a new life that is being born into this world already has microplastics in its body. Can you believe that? That is weird. I mean, that is not supposed to happen. We can't have plastics in our body naturally.
That is
That
the
is something.
that is the most revolutionary thing that has happened. Evolutionary,
Exactly.
evolutionary thing.
Evolutionary thing, exactly. And it's not normal having microplastics in the body of a baby that's just born. So you can imagine how much we are reliant on plastic and how much microplastics we ourselves are ingesting right now. So many products that we don't even think of. Chewing gum has got plastic in it. The water that we drink every day, we don't know whatever the source of it is, it's got microplastics in it. The food that we consume, everything has got plastic in it now, all because there's a lot of plastic being generated. And not just plastic, there's also other sorts of waste. There's like there's thermocol, there's polyesters and all sorts of other fibers, even paper. I
It's
mean,
a
people
part
do
of
feel that.
plastic only, right? Plastic is not just a common term, but there are different types of
Yeah,
plastics.
different types of
One
plastic.
poly-
I'm talking about, yeah.
one type of
Yeah,
plastic.
absolutely.
Just a chemical formula is different. Otherwise, it's the
Yeah,
same.
exactly. Yeah. So I was talking about the single-use plastics before, like your water bottles
Just
or
bag and
your
all.
containers or plastic bags, straws, things like those, cutlery, but also these other things. And even if you think paper, people might think that, oh, using paper instead of plastic, it's a good thing. It's not. It takes a lot and lot of time for a paper to decompose and form manure. It basically ends up in a landfill. It's just adding on to more waste. reusing your own cloth bag is the only thing that you can do. You cannot rely on paper bags either. I mean, it's a better option than plastic, but it's not like you're evil free if you're using paper bags instead of plastic. It's not. Definitely not. So we need to make sure that the amount of waste that we generated in our life is minimalistic. And if you think about it, we honestly don't need to generate so much waste. If you're going out to buy groceries, I'll give you an example from here. So in supermarkets, they have like reusable cloth bags and stuff that you can use, but for fruits and vegetables, if they're loose, they still have plastic bags. And most of the fruits and vegetables here are packed in plastic boxes and plastic packaging already next to the fresh fruit section. So it's basically a matter of choice. If you do have fresh fruits and vegetables in front of you, please do not choose the one that you see are packed in plastic. It's as simple as that. I know it might create a little bit of a difference monetarily, that you might see that a certain amount of plastic packaged foods or vegetables might be a little cheaper, but think about the greater good over there. If you see that there are fresh fruits and vegetables available for you, please do not buy anything that's in plastic. We don't face that much of a problem like that in India because we usually have fresh fruits and vegetables, not plastic packaged. But this is something that I keep telling everybody. Again, there's so many alternatives now available to even the toiletries that you use, like shampoos and conditioners and soaps. So previously we used to use soap. Everybody used to use soaps in house. Now there's body washes coming up, and there are shower gels. So now people use the shower gel in the bottle and a loofah and start using that. The soap has all of a sudden become very tacky because you need to have your own shower gel. You don't want to use a soap that's being used by others. I say you don't need that. There are so many options. There are like shampoo bars and conditioner bars coming up that you can use, so that you don't have to use the plastic bottles over here. Plastic shampoo bottles, plastic conditioner bottles. See, some things we cannot replace for sure. We know that. But wherever we know that there's going to be an option, for example, carrying your own water bottle, that is like a very basic thing. Instead of buying a 10 rupee Bisleri bottle every time you step out of the house, just carry a bottle with you and you can refill it up whenever you need. So it's basic things like these that you can change in your house. The kind of the way you basically purchase your food items, the way you purchase anything in your house, basically, it will determine how much waste you can generate. And if you have a lot of
it make you angry when you see people around this, because this is something very close to you, right? For example, like so when I see some Bollywood movie in which people are just hacking like this, right? So it does actually like that. It makes me angry because I am a software engineer, and when I see something like that, it's just completely wrong, right? So
exactly,
angry when people around you just throwing plastic bags and plastic bottles everywhere.
Absolutely.
For anything.
It absolutely makes me angry, and it makes me think that this isn't really that hard to think about. If some people around you can think about it, I'm sure that you can think about it too. That's what I feel about it. So I can understand that not everybody has the knowledge of this field and not everybody has learned about all these things, but you don't really need to learn about things that you do in your daily life, do you? And not using a plastic bag. Now, when they banned the plastic bags, you did not have an option. At that time, you properly used cloth bags. Now that you have an option again, you want to use plastic bags. Why? Just because it's a little bit more convenient for you. You don't have to carry a bag with you when you go out. Just for that very reason, you will buy a plastic bag from outside. It's not required. Keeping your convenience aside a little bit, it will make such a big change, and it becomes a lifestyle. It's not that hard to make it your lifestyle. You do that thing once, twice, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, you'll get the hang of it. And then once it becomes a habit of yours, you'll realize that you actually have some good habits that you're keeping, rather than just following your comfort and convenience. It's better to step up and do these things by yourself.
There is an American comedian, a very famous comedian, George Carlin. So he said in one of his bit that the only legacy that humans will leave behind once our civilization ends is plastic. So it was humans, it was Earth. After humans, it was Earth plus plastic.
True, absolutely.
That's the only thing we are going to leave behind.
That is so true. And that this, you can literally see plastic from years and years ago still in the ocean floating like that. There's nothing happening to it. Now people are trying to revolutionize the way they make plastic and make biodegradable plastics and other products and everything, but why use it in the first place if you can avoid it? The refuse, reuse, recycle, the 3 R's that we say, I mean, it's actually 5 R's, but the 3 R's basically make a lot of sense.
That's where the
Refuse,
expertise come in. It's not 3R, it's 5R.
it's 5 R's, yeah. It's refuse, reduce.
3Rs.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, 3 R's also should be enough for people who haven't done anything already. I think starting with 3 R's is fine. Then we can think about the 5 R's further. But I mean, yeah, if reduce, reuse, recycle are basically the 3 R's they have said. So what we can do is at least reduce the amount of resources or the extra plastic things that we use in our life. The refuse again comes before that, so that you completely refuse using any of these things. But if it's a transition, reducing is better anytime. So maybe let's say if you're transitioning into following a zero waste lifestyle, you can start off with small things like not using a plastic bag or a plastic bottle. Then you can transition to using shampoo bars and conditioner bars. Sorry. So it's basically like that. You need to keep a transition to it and see how we can work towards it a little more every day.